Hey, folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Tud.
And I'm Obert.
And if you were one of the lucky folks that stumbled across our YouTube channel, you are for the first time ever seeing our smiling and beautiful faces.
That's right.
Hi.
We're doing something a little different this week.
Trying it out, seeing if we talk about the beards, we talk about the beers and how they look.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, well, that's not fair because no one can see how our glorious beards. So
It's very true.
Yeah, the tough thing is they don't know all of the behind-the-scenes editing that goes in. So
right.
To go from a nice, clean, polished podcast to a YouTube feed, we worked our way here. We figured 95 episodes in, we're ready.
Right. Why we didn't wait till 100? The world may never know.
That could have been chapter 2 of our podcast, but
Well, listen,
we're starting chapter 2 at episode 95.
This just means that episode 100 is going to be, live and in person for people to watch.
Okay.
That's the next
delay.
step. The next step of our podcast would be to really go live and us do it all on Twitch.
There you go.
Or YouTube streaming. I think that's the thing too.
We're getting there. So we have 5 episodes to perfect this.
Right. I think what are we, a minute and a half in now? I think we've got this figured out.
I think we're good. So let's wrap this one up. This is done. I don't know if we can keep this pacing the entire time. Oh, man.
Can't be on Mixer, though, because that's gone now.
Oh, man. That's huge.
Going away.
I mean, for those of you that don't know, I'm part of the streaming community. And yeah, that's big. It's all over the Discords. It's everywhere. So,
wait, what are you guys even talking about?
Mixer is it was Microsoft's streaming service that was supposed to rival Twitch. They signed Ninja over, which is was the #1 Twitch guy ever.
I've heard of Ninja. I don't know what he does, but I know he's like the twitchiest Twitcher that ever twitched.
Well, now he's the mixiest mixer that ever mixed. So
yeah. He's the PewDiePie of streaming, and I don't know what PewDiePie does either. So
I don't know that either. That's a good one. I think we're coming for you, PewDiePie. I think you're on YouTube. I don't know.
We're the new PewDiePie. We're the PewDiePie.
I don't know what any of that means, but in full disclosure to our listeners who are hearing our voices versus seeing us on YouTube, we are recording a YouTube show for the Kirk Minahan Show YouTube network. We're submitting it in hopes that it's going to be posted over there. So we'll have Kirk Minahan's YouTube channel broadcasting our podcast while you're also listening to our voices. So this is our pilot episode. So Kirk Minahan listeners, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is us. This is what we're going to do. We're still in the early stages of learning how to video edit too. So if this is the raw, unfiltered version of this.
You said that so you remix it.
Until I remix it.
Remix.
Our podcast is pretty much not much is edited out of our podcast either. So this is, it should be pretty good, but this is what we do.
Coming from the one person who has not edited an episode.
Correct.
Oh no, it's clean. We're clean every week.
Yeah.
I was told last week that I was the easiest to edit.
Yes, you probably were that episode.
No, so the Kirk Minahan audience, what we do here is we review beers. We also have a lot of fun. Let's get down to it. Who wants to go first today?
I can do it. Put my back into it. Plus, I have a big beer today, so
you want to get it out of the way.
I want to start it. I keep it. See my. Oh shoot! Well, that's good for the. Oh boy. Well then, that beer's hopefully not broken behind the fridge.
The world may never know.
Yeah, well, some of the world's gonna know, especially me. I'm one of the world. So there's one fun thing we love to do on the show. This is gonna be a throwback, callback, whatever you want to call. Tud, do you have it ready?
Hit that beautiful sound effect.
The beautiful sound effect that is very scary. And no.
Ah!
What's going on? It's Face Your Beers. No. Please don't explode. Please don't explode. Please don't explode. Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, this is when one of us drinks a beer or liquor or something that none of us really want to drink, and we're basically forced up to it and forced to drink something that potentially could be nasty. For people who want to go back in our backlog, go see the episode where we all drank the Bud Light Clamatos.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
They're very bad. They're very bad. But anywho, this is something I had to buy because I was walking through my local Food Lion and I came across something that I had never seen before because I haven't really perused the, normal beer section, I guess, whatever you want to call that. What is that called? Domestic beer? There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the words.
That's beer for normies.
Normal beers. And I came across this
cheap
thing.
Beer. It should just be renamed Cheap Beer section.
Yeah, cheap beer. Yeah, there you go. And my Twitch handle, of course, is Beard Eyed Gamer, so I had to buy the Natty Daddy.
Oh boy.
So it's a 25-ounce can. It's actually called the big one.
That's right. They give you that bonus ounce.
Yeah, and it is 8% alcohol by volume. So I assume it's going to taste it's going to be rough. This will be a rough one.
I'm very nervous for you.
I'm nervous for me too. Like, thankfully, my beer fridge, as we see, is right behind me, so I could just get another one. But in true fashion, I'm going to see if I can make it through this thing. I'm sure. I mean, it smells like a normie beer, cheap beer.
Smells like Natty Light, but harder.
Yeah, it smells like rice and barley and hops.
Yeah, and no water in this beer. Sand in this beer.
I don't know about you, but my water doesn't have a smell to it. So
water has a smell. Water's got a smell. Yeah.
Nope.
Tud gets out of
water
the car
right here.
On his beach vacation. Walks down to the edge of the sand, takes a big whiff, and smells nothing.
Well, the ocean smells, but your tap water doesn't. If your tap water stinks, you have an issue.
It doesn't stink. I didn't say stink. I said smells. Water has a smell.
Type of odor to it, you have an issue.
Water has a smell. You don't have a refined nose palate like mine.
Chris walks into his house and he says, "Dana, are you taking a bath over there? I can smell all the water in the other room."
The nose taste is all inside my nostrils. So, anywho, Natty Daddy. Let's see what it's all about. I mean, if I had to guess, it's going to be not great, but you never know. That's why we face our beers. That's why we do it.
Yes, we can learn something from every beer we face.
Ooh, that's bad. Ooh.
Oh, and you're going to have to finish it too. This is going to be great.
Oh man. So, a little bit of a backstory. I was very lucky to not drink terrible beer when I was growing up. I went straight to the working class, so I always had a little bit of money. So not much because I spent it on stupid shit. But I had a little bit of money. But so my Natty Light experiences are few and far between.
So you don't have anything to compare it to because you don't know what a Natty Light actually tastes like.
Ooh.
I think that would have been the right way to do the face your beers. Is you got to have the Natty Light side by side with the Natty Daddy.
It's got like a weird. It's. I mean, it starts off kind of tasting like. I don't even know, like a normal, like not great beer, cheap beer, but then it just tries to punch you with the 8% alcohol.
Mm.
And normally 8% alcohol is not a big deal, but
now if you puke on the YouTube channel, this is going to be great content.
No, it's not that. That was a burp. That was not a. But
I'm picturing the the scene in Star Wars where they're in the trash compactor and Luke gets pulled under by the tentacle and he's like comes up and he's just covered in garbage water. That's what I imagine this tastes like. Is that garbage water?
You're not far off, to be completely honest. And I know because I've been inside the Death Star and have had that garbage water. But no, it's like normally 8% alcohol for a beer is higher, but there's normally enough going on where it can be covered up pretty well. However, this is just like, oh no, you're just gonna get punched in the face with 8% of alcohol. There's nothing to cover it up. You can definitely tell it's just a cheap beer. It's very not good.
Now, is it considered a beer or is it considered a malt liquor?
I think that's a beer.
Ooh,
because
I mean,
like Natty Ice is considered beer, but I don't know, if that one would be, because that's really high for Natty.
Yes, Natty Daddy is just a rebranded Natty Ice in giant can form.
I was actually wondering that myself but then I looked up. I think Natty Ice wasn't 8%. I think it's like 6% or something like that.
Oh,
because I think this is supposed to be the Natty Daddy. But anywho, it's not good. I mean, I guess if you're because I think this 25-ounce can was like maybe $3. Like, I don't remember.
So Natty Ice is 5.9%.
Okay.
So this is, oh boy.
Yeah. This is 8. It's like 8. It's like 2.1% more. It's not like, it's definitely not the worst beer I've ever had. That was the Clamato. Those were terrible. I think that was episode. Oh, I don't even remember now. Yeah, whatever.
Like 50 something, maybe 40 something.
Yeah.
It was about a year ago from today, or a month, maybe like.
Yeah, it's definitely not the worst beer I've ever had, but it's definitely not good. I'm gonna give this on a scale of 1 to 5, which is our Untapped scale. I'm gonna give this a 1.
0 to 5.
0 to 5. Oh yes, thank you. 0 to 5. I'm going to give this a 1.
Okay.
You
like it then a little bit.
If I were at a college party, I guess. I don't know why I'd be there. I'm way too old for that. But if I were at a college party,
if you wanted to blend in and look like look like you belonged at a college party,
I think I would have to legally bring this to a college party to let everybody know that I'm a daddy. So like, I think that's why they made it. They made it for the college kid who never wanted to grow up but did anyway. So I'm gonna give it a 1. It's definitely not the worst beer I've ever had, but it's just it's not good. It's not good. Now the Untapped-averse.
So now out of 11,000 check-ins, what do you think it's rated?
Oh man, I think it's gonna be low because Untapped is all of us, the hoity-toity craft beer, which that was me making fun of me.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be lower than your rating though.
I don't think it'll be that low. I think it'll be a 1 point. I think it'll be a 1.86. Damn it!
Sorry, it's actually a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a 2.06.
Okay, still bad.
Still, that's probably one of the lowest beers that we've seen rated on Untapped. I think the Clamatos were rated higher than that.
I think they were, yeah. And those were awful. Well,
yeah, but people like those for some weird reason.
That is true. They made it for a reason, and the reason was not drinking alone with friends.
The Natty Daddy only exists because it's like, do you not want to drink a fifth of cheap vodka but still want to get drunk? Buy this instead.
Right. And like I'm in a dilemma right now because I don't want to drink it fast, but also I don't want to drink it warm. So like it's a race. It's a race. I got to keep that balance.
We are on YouTube. You could try to I know you already popped the top, but you could try to shotgun it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Or you could just drink it quickly throughout the episode when we move on to someone else's review.
Oh, I like that one better. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you ever done Edward 40 Hands?
I have not. No, I've not.
Yes.
Because that's the same thing. The only difference is your hands are getting what feels like frostbite from being wrapped in duct tape around these two
We've talked
freezing
about
cold
this on
beers.
the podcast. Because Todd says, have your fly undone.
Yes, that was my advice.
Oh, was it your advice? It was advice that was given. Have fly undone.
Yeah.
My advice was just to drink it super fast so you didn't have to worry about your fly being undone.
There we go. Tell you
My
what,
advice
next
also would
time
be
the
to
three
wrap-
of us are in a room, we're playing over 40 hands. We're doing it.
I would also say wrap duct tape around the bottles first to insulate your hands from them being ice cold. It also insulates the bottle so it doesn't
Right.
get as warm.
I feel like that's cheating, though. I don't know. We'll have to look up official Edward 40 hands rules. Anyways, who wants to drink next? I think Obert is over there. He looks very thirsty.
That's right. That's
Parched.
right. I think I'm gonna hop in here. So a few weeks ago, we had on the podcast the PBR hard coffee, which was not coffee with PBR in it. It was like basically a alcoholic yoo-hoo. And after
I
hearing
swear
the
to God,
review-
we are a craft beer review podcast.
That's right.
There,
We
the
just like to do some. We just like to get stuff we know people will want to hear about.
Right.
And so, friend of the show, Sal, heard the review and was like, "Listen, I'm going to send you a beer. If you thought that PBR coffee beer was good, you got to try this one out." So he was kind enough to send a box of beer my way, and in it was this Rise and Grind, which is I don't know if you can call it a collaboration. I guess you'd call it a collaboration between Rise, which I think they're the coffee manufacturers. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, Rise Nitro Brewing Company. That's the Rise here.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what you're missing out, all of our listeners. And Half Full is
nice. Okay.
So the collaboration between those two, Half Full being a brewery out of Connecticut. And just like Chris is facing his fears by drinking a gross beer, I am drinking a alcoholic beverage with 90 milligrams of caffeine at 9 o'clock at night. So
good life choice.
It's a more of a psychological fear than a taste bud fear. But
well, you don't get a face your beers lead in, but you do get this. Beer is done. Beer is done. Beer is done. It's done.
Oh, I was like, is it gonna hit me with the end stuff? Oh man, hard coffee is good. Hard coffee is good. Hard coffee is. I don't know.
So like the last beer looked a lot more like a latte, the PBR one. This is straight up cold brew nitro coffee.
Black coffee.
With, about a 40 on the SRM scale, which we've learned is as high as it goes.
40 or 1 billion.
Yeah. What were you saying, Ted?
I was just going to say, I'm curious to see how you compare this to the PBR coffee, because I've had this Rise and Grind. There's still some in my fridge over there. But I'm curious because I haven't found the PBR coffee, so I'm curious to see what you think of it.
Yeah.
In comparison.
It definitely, on the nose, it smells a lot more like a stout than a coffee, for sure. Looking at it, I mean, it pours more like a nitro coffee than a beer. So I was expecting it to smell a much stronger coffee aroma.
Mm.
But without further ado,
I commend you for drinking this at 9 o'clock at night.
Well, Sal was kind enough to send the beer all the way across the country to Montana. I figured the least I could do was stay up till 1 a.m. laying in my bed with my eyes awake. So it also doesn't get dark here until like after 10 o'clock. So
that's
I'm
crazy.
Already kind of
oh man.
up. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Obert lives in Montana, Chris lives in North Carolina, and I live in Connecticut.
Right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So tasting notes on this. We have a lot of beers on the show that have coffee flavors in them. You get organically from that roasted malt. You get a lot of the same burnt flavors you would get out of a nice dark roasted coffee. I wouldn't be able to tell you that this was made with coffee if I didn't know. If somebody just handed me this in a glass, it tastes like a regular coffee porter. It's funny you would say things a lot of times the other way, where it's like, yeah, you can't even taste the alcohol. I'm like, yeah, you can't even taste the coffee.
Now, is it because you did say you think it's a regular coffee porter, so you must get like flavors of coffee, or no?
Absolutely.
Okay,
But I guess
okay.
what I'm saying is like, you get a lot of those. You can get coffee flavors without coffee.
Mm.
That's
So,
fair.
but like I said, much more porter flavor than coffee flavor. And this had I cracked this off air before the show started, but it erupted much like a Guinness can does, where you have the nitro in it. So it's
It does.
a little. It's
the
a
head
little
is
flat
small,
now. Yeah,
but it looked frothy.
right. It has that clingy head, but it poured like a Guinness does, where it has the waves of nitrogen bubbles. So
I've mixed this with some canned cold brew, and I have it. It actually just blends in perfectly with the canned cold brew and tastes a lot like I'm drinking a cold brew coffee.
Nice.
Besides the fact that it has a little bit of carbonation because of the nitro, and the canned coffee doesn't. But
Right.
yeah, it seems to go pretty well together.
I could definitely see that. I would say this is good. The website on Half Full Brewery's website, it says it's perfect for tailgating and 4 p.m. happy hours. And I think those are both perfect occasions that you'd want to drink this beer on. Yeah.
Now, if only we can get them to add 9 p.m. podcast recordings.
I'd be a little freaked out then. If that's what it said. Yeah.
I think that'll go. I think that'll do well.
Mm-hmm. So I think, I don't remember off the top of my head what I rated the PBR coffee. I think I rated it pretty high, like a 3.5 or something like that.
I think it may have been a 3.75, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely in that range.
Yeah.
This I don't want to compare directly to it because, like I said, they're different beverages. It'd be comparing like a Yoo-Hoo with a black nitro coffee. Not the same drink.
Right.
But that being said, I'm going to give this guy a 3.75. Solid drink. I thought you weren't allowed to sell beer with caffeine in it. I thought that was a thing that you couldn't do. I thought Four Loko put an end to that. But this is the only caffeinated alcoholic beverage I've ever had.
I'm sure there's a regulation. I think Four Loko is just like, oh, do you like meth and beer? Because that's essentially what this is.
Yeah.
Would you like to be drunk on cocaine at the same time without having to buy the cocaine?
Right.
We've got you covered.
Yeah.
Would you like
mixing uppers and downers is always a good idea.
Well, it
Alcohol
reminded
and
me a lot. I had one Four Loko one time, and then I proceeded to then never drink it again. But I decided to start pre-gaming going to the bar by drinking SoCo and Monsters. So basically the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what a Four Loko is. Well, they've redone Four Lokos. They're still available.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Well, yeah, because
from what
they
I
have to take
hear, I haven't
cocaine
had
out.
the new.
Good. Right.
Yeah, it's not as good. So you
might
gave
as well
it,
just do Red Bull and vodka.
yeah, right. Yeah, Red Bull and vodka, same thing. Oh well, whatever. So Over gave it a 3.75. What do you think? Out of 44 check-ins, what do you think the average is?
Well, those few check-ins, I say under 50 doesn't count. But
true.
I'm thinking Hawaii 4.0.
Ooh.
What I'm gonna guess the average is.
You overshot by a bit. 3.44.
Pretty low.
Just a bit outside.
That is pretty low.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious why so low. 3.5. 0.5. The coffee on okay, this is perfect. Thank you, Mark. So 0.5. The coffee on the finish never ends. So
yeah, I don't get that.
And also
it's supposed to be a hard coffee.
Right. Why would you drink this beer, Mark D? Oh my goodness. But other folks are 3.5, 4, 3.5, 4, blah 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 blah. So there's another 0.5. All right, Jonathan H. I'm putting you on blast. With the last meeting of the year in the books, summer is officially here. Gave it a shot, had a few sips. Thanks for the beer. That's all it is? Okay. Well, apparently he didn't like it. Whatever. Anywho, dragging that rating down.
It's fine if you don't like the beer, but nothing is, especially this. I've had this. It's not that low. It tastes like a coffee. I mean, it tastes like a bubbly coffee or a coffee porter.
You're gonna see like we talk about it all the time. You're gonna see it with every beer, though. You know, be like, oh, I don't like coffee. Okay, maybe you're not the right judge.
Yeah,
based on some of the brewers that I've talked to, nothing gets under their skin more than when they know who the person is at the brewery that just like knocked them on a rating and they can see it on their phone, and it's like, oh, got to try this beer for free, gave it a 0.25. It's like,
oh, that sucks.
At least like try to give us a real thing. Like, I gave you a free freaking tasting, you idiot.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I can see.
And as we've said on the podcast before, we can be bought.
Right, exactly. We can be bought very well. We'll give all your beers a 5 as long as they're free of charge. I can see the balance. Like, I actually, when I first moved to North Carolina, I stopped in a brewery, and actually, I hadn't even moved here yet. I just was like looking for a house for me and the family, and I had because I'm here, I stop at all the breweries, and I stopped at one downtown Statesville that I haven't really been back to since, not because of the bad beer, but not because they had bad beer, but because they're more of a bar, and we go out with my son a lot. So anyway,
looking for more of a chill vibe than a bar vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And the guy was like, oh, I was rating their beers, and one of them was very good. And I was like, oh, man, this is really good. Like, I host this podcast, telling him about it. He's like, yeah, I think I've seen you in here before. I'm like, well, that's impossible. I was like, this is my first time here ever. But he was like mad because a couple came in, and I guess they sat in the back and like trashed their beers on Untapped or whatever it was, and I was like, well, that's kind of messed up because their beer was pretty good. It's just, I don't know. So they do get really, really upset about it. Like he thought I was like, until I started talking to him more, he thought I was like the biggest asshole on the face of the planet. I was like, no, it's just really good beer. Like, it was a white IPA, I think, that was really good. But anyway, it's my tangent for this segment.
Yeah. Well, with that Chris's tangent, Ted, why don't you review our third and final beer of the episode?
Yeah, so I've decided to bring a beer from a brewery that we haven't had on in a while. I'm also trying to make an appeal to some of Kirk Minahan's viewers that are going to be watching this that are from Massachusetts. And so I decided to drink a Treehouse beer this week.
Pandarin.
Yes, exactly. It's called On the Fly. Ooh. And this beer was brewed and canned on May 1st, 2009, apparently, according to the thing. But it's 2020. This was brewed basically right before we were all put on quarantine. It's named On the Fly because that's what Treehouse named their online ordering system. So this is their first beer they put up for sale on their online ordering system.
Oh.
This is given to me by brother of the pod to bring on the podcast. So
I like the can art. I mean, Treehouse, whoever they get to do their can art, I always enjoy. But that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one there.
The can art is a station wagon with kegs of beer loaded on top and a dog hanging out the side.
Solid.
As you can see, based on the beer, let me move it up here slowly because it's kind of full.
It is juicy IPA.
Yeah, it's your typical standard Treehouse juicy IPA. On the nose, a lot of mango. That's about all I smell. Let's taste it. Let's find out.
My folks were just talking about Treehouse today, and they're not big IPA fans, but they were like, "What's that brewery that you guys talk about on your podcast?" And I was like, Treehouse, they're like, there's Sturbridge. I'm like, yeah, it's called Treehouse, but if you're not really big at IPAs, it's probably not the best brewery for you.
Oh, I mean, they do really good stouts.
That's true.
They do good wines. No, I'm just kidding.
They do everything pretty well.
They do. They're a very good brewery.
Things.
They're absolutely known for their IPAs.
Yes.
Yeah. When I lived up there, I was a big time Treehouse fanboy. Big time.
So this is a 6.1%. 8.1% double IPA. It's described as on the fly as a double IPA by Treehouse Brewing Company. It's an amalgamation of Treehouse IPA design, drawing heavy from the very hazy and hopping construct and very green in the malt grist design. So basically, it's going to be a mix between very hazy and very green.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, awful. Having had both, this beer is really good. It is nothing but straight, just kick in the face of citrus fruits.
I mean, like, those are two of my favorite beers ever. Not even just of Treehouse, like ever. Very hazy and very green are so good.
Yeah, this is wow. This is amazing. A lot of mango, a lot of pineapple on the nose or in the mouth. Nice clean malt bill on the back end. Not a lot of lingering flavors. It just kind of finishes clean. Does not taste like the Natty Daddy, like Chris almost just threw up again.
No, it was a weird like burp, but it came out my nose. I don't know. What is that called?
Yeah, you get those when you drink the cheap domestic beers.
A snurp. I think that's the biological term is a snurp.
Yeah, that's what it says in my biology textbook. Symptoms may include snurping.
Natty Daddy may cause snurping.
Oh, glad he got episode title.
So true.
Oh man. Okay. So going back to this beer, amazing is all I can really say. You if there's such thing as an almost perfect IPA, this is it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I could drink this on repeat forever. Unfortunately, for those of you who don't know, I'm never going to write another beer perfect 5.0 again. So it can't be a 5.0 because it can always be better. I would have.
You said it's a perfect IPA.
If you would have told me 3 years ago, though, that green wasn't a perfect IPA, I would have disagreed with you. And now I've had this. So I can only imagine what happens when they mix King Julius with a very hazy and a very green. Then it's going to be even better.
You're saying this is the best Treehouse beer you've ever had?
This is very close to probably. It's been a long time since I've drank a Treehouse IPA or Treehouse beer in general. And maybe they're just that good, and I've forgotten how good they are. And I've just,
could be it too.
If you go back to the beginning of the podcast, I used to shit on them all the time because I still hate their stupid lines, and I hate waiting in line for no reason when I can go down to the local place and get a beer within seconds. But this is a damn good beer. I'm gonna pull the trigger. I'm gonna say it's a 4.75.
You son of a B. We could have had back-to-back fives. Come on, you can do it.
This is a damn good beer.
Oh man, see, I think you're missing out.
Is that the only one that you have, or do you have any more of them?
I know
it is the only one that I have.
Also, Brad, if you're listening, do you have any more? Because this sounds like a beer you have to give to your brother, and then your brother sends it to two co-hosts.
I'm letting you know that if he gives it to me, it's never going to make it in your box.
No, okay, never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, let's skip the middleman here.
Skip the middleman. Send them both to me, and I'll send one to Obert, maybe.
Wait a minute. I was on board with this plan.
Brad, I will pay you for a box of beer. No, actually, I probably would. But anyways,
this is good shit.
It sounds amazing. It sounds so good. I mean, and like you were saying, those are two. Well, like you said, and then I confirmed, those are two of my favorite beers. So when you were like mix of these two, I'm like, okay, sounds amazing.
The ending flavor is more.
I think I've
more like straight mango juice. It's so good. I'm gonna guess that the Untapped rating for this beer, it's gonna be high. It's Treehouse hop hype, but the hype is real on this one. I've never seen an Untapped rating above like a 4.7, so it can't be higher than that. I'm gonna say 4.64.
Yeah, so it's not quite that high, but still very high. Consider when I tell you 7,007 check-ins. So that's a considerable amount of check-ins. It's a 4.43.
Okay.
So,
Pretty solid.
Still
pretty
extremely high.
Yeah, extreme. That's world-class highness. So so I'm gonna shout out another podcast that we're friends with, to 1056 podcast. That's a beer podcast. One of their co-hosts had it and gave it a 4.5. So he enjoyed it quite a bit as well. Everything I've said 4.75, 4.5, 4. It just keeps going on. So that's extremely high. Extremely high.
That round of applause for Treehouse for that one. Wow. You know what? I'm even going to pull up the soundboard here, and I'm
Why
give
do
them
a
nice
real
little
sound of
clap.
applause when we could do a
Yeah, I know. Oh, wait, I know it's coming. Yay!
We can do that one. If you'd like.
Okay.
Yay!
Sounds like Chris.
One of them apparently does. So
No, but yeah, go find this beer if they ever brew it again. Damn. Or just go to Treehouse in general, because
that's the only place
now
you can find them. Why don't they distribute? I know, like,
they don't need to.
I guess that's good enough. I mean, I feel like
why
they
would you pay a middleman?
Yeah, I guess that's true. They built an absolute palace up there. Like, why would I guess that? Damn, I wish they would though.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it
mean,
would be
look
nice.
at all of the great breweries near you. Like, does Burial distribute, or can you only find that at the brewery?
No, they do. You can find it at package stores.
Yeah, I think most Asheville beers you can find.
Yeah.
Almost all over. I don't know about the Funkatorium. The Wicked Weed Funkatorium.
Yeah, you can find Funkatorium stuff.
Oh man.
You have to go to like bottle shops. Like, you can't go to like, I went to Stop and Shop and got one, but like
like Trillium doesn't distribute much.
No, they don't
distribute they distribute their like the bombers that they have. You can find those at like Yankee Spirits and Sturbridge. But Treehouse, much like Field of Dreams, they built it and people come. Why the hell would they bring in you and pay you money to sell their beer that they can do on their own?
There has to be a reason. I mean,
I think it's artificial scarcity.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
It's not scarce anymore.
You can
go online and buy cases of green. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if it's just the core 4, like, I would go on and I would go to a package store and buy it. But anyway, whatever. Treehouse.
I don't think they'd like to charge. If you saw a 4-pack of green sitting on the shelf for $22 or $23, I don't know I think you'd buy it, but at the same time, in your heart of hearts, you know that you could just go to Treehouse and get it for cheaper. That becomes kind of like I love Single Cut, but I hate paying $24 for a 4-pack of their IPAs. It doesn't sit well with me to pay that much money for a 4-pack.
Yeah,
when it's sitting right next to a 4-pack that's $18.
That's true. Single Cut is delicious though. Man, no New England beers. You guys do good beers up there. I mean, don't get me wrong, North Carolina, great beers, but
yeah, I'm definitely envious of the beer you guys have available in cans near you. We have some good beer, but unfortunately, most of it is not canned. It's like you got to go to the brewery to get it. And Montana's so big, even stuff from the other side of the state you can't always find around here.
Yeah, I can imagine that distribution down up there is not the best.
Right.
Yeah,
it's tough.
But we had a fun thing that came up on Discord, and this actually kind of plays into some of what we're talking about, big states, et cetera, et cetera. And that was our friend of the podcast.
Friend? Or enemy?
Whoa, was it the enemy? Oh, I forgot who said it.
Enemy of the podcast, Blevin.
Oh, I forgot who said it. I thought it was Sal.
Then we've got a little bit of a drop for him.
Oh, we do. Perfect.
So I'll read what he wrote here, and it says.
Oh, you got it up? Okay.
I got it up. Yeah. And this isn't the one where he. So it says here, my favorite sound in the world is a cheese grater on a chalkboard, and I agree that Tud. Oh, has the best voice in the pod. Sorry, wrong one. That wasn't the one I was supposed to read.
Oh man, Bubbin, you're making me slowly like you.
Well,
he says
it's the context, because he said he likes cheese grater on a
Chalk.
chalkboard, which is terrible, and then he likes your voice.
Yeah, but then we already had the other guy in your chat the other night that said that my voice is the sound of God.
Who said that? No one said that.
So Blevin writes, "Hey guys, looks like CT just released their Passport app to take the place of the Passport book that they had for the last 2 years. Does North Carolina or Montana have similar promotions? I'd be interested in your thoughts on this app and similar passport systems in a future episode. The Rhode Island Passport is also similar, and I know Massachusetts and Maine have their own systems. Lots to discuss. XOXO Blevin."
So I can tell you that
Blevin.
I've been using the CT Brewers Passport, both the physical paper version and the electronic version on my phone. I love this new app because you literally just have to be somewhere around the brewery and go on the app and hit check in, and you get a stamp. I don't have to walk up to the brewery. I don't have to say, hey, can you stamp my passport? And somebody look around stupidly to see if they can find the stamp and be able to stamp your passport. You don't have to remember it on you, because who doesn't show up to a brewery with their phone on them anyways?
Good point.
It's great. There's also a leaderboard to where you can see like,
oh, I like that.
Who's has the most check-ins. Like right now, the person who had it.
That I like. That I like. And when you can make drinking beer into a competition, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
The person who's leading right now, currently, last time I checked in, which was Saturday, they had 49 breweries out of the 110 breweries that are on the app.
Weak sauce. What? The year's half over.
It
just came out.
It's only been up for 2 weeks.
Okay, in that case, this guy's cheating. But
yeah, right.
It's possible they're driving by breweries and literally just checking in. But now
they have a GPS location spoofer, and they're doing it
also,
that way. Very easy to cheat on this.
There you go.
The number one person is Ralph Len, and he has still to this day 49 check-ins.
All right, Ralph, I think it's safe to say you're an official enemy of the pod.
Yeah.
For spoofing. Location spoofing. Oh man.
And another cool thing about this app, so they must have listened. These people who designed this must be listeners of the podcast.
Naturally. Because everybody
on
is.
the app, you can create your own beer trail.
Oh, okay. That's a deep cut. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So I can go through and I can even show the camera. You can check off, like if I wanted to add like Second Bridge, you just click the little thing there and it adds.
That's so cool.
Trail. And so you can create a beer trail, like a circle or something.
Right.
Where you want to travel to.
Now, can you share that trail?
Yes.
There we go. That's nice. Okay. Awesome.
That's great.
That's
think about it. If you were like, hey, I'm visiting Connecticut for a week for business, and I'm gonna have some time to check out some breweries. What should I go? You should be like, hey, just download this app here, and then I'll share you this trail. Like,
yep,
that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
And then you can make friends on the app, and so you can see where your friends have checked in. You can also see the global feed of what everybody's currently doing. So if there's something massive going on at a certain brewery, if you're looking at the activity, you'll be like, well, why is everybody at Kinsman Brewing today? And you can look it up and be like, oh, because they're having a big giant beer festival. Maybe I'll hop over there. They've got a list of events that are happening at different breweries, so breweries can advertise like when they're going to have certain food trucks to get more people there. And then they also have a special little link called Deals, where if you click that, breweries can post like the specials that they're having this week. Like, for example, Stewards of the Land Brewing is doing a summer food truck promotion where if you buy food from the daily food truck and show the receipt to the barkeep, you get $1 off a draft.
Oh, nice. Man, that's so cool. Damn it.
Yeah.
I move away and literally this comes out. Well,
I know,
I moved away 2 years ago and literally this comes out 2 years later.
What are the odds that that's even a coincidence, at that point?
I bet they're related.
Because this replaces the old system, which was literally just like a stapled together, non-laminated book that was printed out.
It wasn't stapled. It was a nice piece of like card stock paper, but it was big and clunky, and you had to either keep it in your pocket or keep it in your coat, and then
As
summer you're not
Tud-
wearing a coat,
yeah.
so you forget it at home, and you get all angry because then you have 17 books, and then you have to staple them all together and send them in, and it was annoying. Now I can just click a button to redeem my points.
Yeah, big and clunky as Tud pulls out his 19-inch phone.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool. So Blevin, even though you're enemy of the pod, I did do a little bit of research, and unfortunately, North Carolina does not have anything this cool. I saw a post from like 2017, which was kind of cool, but that was 3 years ago. But I'm noticing that like sections of North Carolina have things like Raleigh has its own beer passport, beer trail kind of thing. So that area does. And then Charlotte has something. So I wonder if it's in sections. I didn't get to see everything, but
Oh, I'm surprised they don't have anything statewide.
it's
That's kinda
weird.
weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's
And it's
so
especially
many
given how many
breweries.
good breweries are in your state.
So many. And I saw a few things that I was like, well, maybe I want to go take a weekend trip to Raleigh or something, just so I can get that T-shirt that you get for getting 15 check-ins or whatever. But
now, granted, I guess if your state had, or my state had, Asheville in it, you wouldn't really need a passport. Like, it's already a destination. People are going to go to the breweries there no matter what. You don't need it.
Still,
That's
wouldn't it be
true.
cool to try out everyone in the state? That's
Right.
what it's all about, I think.
right.
Yeah. It just
Maybe they don't want anybody to die, because if you went to every brewery in the state of North Carolina, you probably would die.
it's a very big
Well,
state.
I was thinking about it when we talked about making your own trail. I'm like, this just seems like it might be encouraging drinking and driving. If it's like,
That's a good
here's
point.
all of the breweries, it's like, so there's probably a disclaimer like, this is for your DD to use the GPS between all these breweries.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a drink responsibly disclaimer on there somewhere.
Your DD or Uber or Lyft or
pregnant
your
wife.
DD. Pregnant
Yeah.
wife. There you go.
There you go.
Don't have one of those.
I'm
but
telling
Yeah.
you guys got to get one of those.
Yeah. My handle this week is my pregnant wife. 9 months long, designated driver. So in Montana, we have a passport book that, like, similar to the old Connecticut system, where it's, maybe like 6x4, a small little booklet you could fit in your pocket, but it's $20, and I don't know what you get if you check everything in, but a lot of times places will do a deal where, like, if you buy the book, you get a pint free, or if you show up, like, your second pint is free. And on their website, it says it was started as a Kickstarter in 2014, I think. Yeah, 2014, it was funded on Kickstarter. And it says here that we have roughly 85 craft breweries within the state. So there's a spot for each of the breweries, and you can check it in. And one person who finished the brewery actually wrote a book that made it featured on their website, called The Breweries of Montana, by Tara Eckes. So her book's on Amazon. Maybe it's worth checking out if you really that curious about Montana breweries. I haven't read it, but that's kind of cool that she was able to write a book about all the breweries in the state.
I should point out that this app is free. Just the Connecticut one is free. And the Connecticut Brewers Guild always puts on a massive beer festival each year. And historically, the reward for getting over like 50 check-ins at breweries, or 75 or whatever, a massive amount of check-ins, is you got a free VIP ticket to the beer festival.
That's cool. Yeah, this
Nice.
very much seems like a
Free of
rogue,
charge.
like, thing someone just did, and not very much like
Oh, you killed it?
sanctioned thing.
It's done. I conquered the daddy.
There we go.
I will say, though, this is odd, because I didn't think it would. As it got warmer,
better.
it actually got better.
Nice.
Like, not much better, but for some reason it was not.
It killed
harsh.
enough of your taste buds.
That might
Yeah.
be it. Yes, that might be it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
man.
if Chris is done with his beer, if Chris has conquered his natural father, I think that means it's time for one thing and one thing only, and that is Pete. Take it away. Our three-handled frosty mug of wisdom.
Gotta wake Pete up.
Gotta wake Pete up. He's our conqueror. So it's time where we take our frosty mug of wisdom out of the freezer. We fill it up with our three handles of advice, like we do every week. Things we like, products, TV shows, YouTube series, self-service providers, not brewery passports, but just stuff in general. So this week, Chris, I want you to start filling our frosty mug.
Okay, I can do that, and I'm gonna fill it with a TV show, one that I actually stumbled upon today, and I watched a few episodes of, and I'm already hooked into it. It's called Making It, which is on NBC and or Hulu, depending on what you want. Now, if you're an old time listener, you've heard one of my handles before, the Great British Baking Show, the Great British Bake Off.
That's right. Chris likes baking.
I do like baking. I'm a baker. But this show is pretty much the same premise, except that folks have to craft something using wood or whatever it may be. So they have to craft these certain things.
I'm more into this. This
Yeah.
more intrigues me.
Okay. Yeah. So they have to craft things based on whatever the set time frame is. They have a few hours to do it. And it's essentially the same exact show, just instead of baking, it is, craft objects, putting things together, whatever, wood and nails and crap. What really takes the cake is the fact that it's hosted by Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
Oh, interesting.
Who is the great duo from Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope. So if you're a fan of that show and you're a fan of their comedy, then you would probably enjoy this show, even if it's not the most exciting thing for you.
So are they playing similar characters?
So no, they're actually being themselves. So
Okay.
Nick Offerman is not like the Ron Swanson where he's just like, he doesn't want to, like, he's actually being
It's like
outgoing
a
and
man. Yeah.
yeah, he's being outgoing and things of that nature, but the comedy is still there between them. Now they're being show hosts, so they're like kind of corny, like it's written for them to be corny, but it's funnier than the host of the Great British Baking Show, who I've never heard of in my life. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm apparently a sucker for this model of TV show where it's like 2 challenges and then an elimination. So, look in the near future for something close to that. But I'm a big fan of Parks and Rec. So, having Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman on there definitely helps make the show a little better. So, there it is. If you want to, season 2 is on Hulu, and season 1 isn't. So I think they're trying to save stuff for their Peacock streaming service or whatever it is. But season 2 is on Hulu, and I'm about 3 episodes in right now. So if you are interested in something like that, check out Making It on Hulu and or NBC. So, but anyways, that's my handle this week. I want to hand it off to Tud. What do you got?
So, I don't know whether to take the easy way out this week and use the handle of the podcast that we're attempting to stream on their YouTube channel for, or if I want to do something.
You've already mentioned it. You're committed at this point.
Yeah, you might as well just pot commit and save the other handle for next week.
So my handle for this week is going to be the Kirk Minahan Show. Obviously, we're recording this to be on his YouTube channel. It's a very interesting podcast. It's a daily podcast. Kirk Minahan used to be a broadcaster on WEEI up in Boston. has since moved to Barstool Sports. He puts out a daily podcast where he basically discusses whatever the hell he wants to discuss. Whether that's, atrocities at the Boston Globe or, issues that he has with the Red Sox or issues that he has at Barstool Sports or, fighting the good fight for anything that he feels needs to be fought for, sticking up for the little man, or just pointing out things that are wrong in the world and the hypocrisy that goes on in the world. It's basically like he draws a lot of his experience from Howard Stern. So listeners of our podcast who don't know the Kirk Minahan Show, I listen to it every day. Obviously, the Kirk Minahan audience that would possibly be viewing this, you already know it. I don't need to describe you the podcast. Basically, go check it out.
It sounds very Boston-centric. What if I don't care about Boston?
He talks about things all across the country. It is a little Boston-centric from time to time, but that's a given based on where he's based.
Sure.
But he does
not
talk about
exclusively Boston.
Yeah, no, it's not exclusively Boston at all. So go check that out, people. Take a listen. If you guys were like a big fan of like Howard Stern from the 90s and the 2000s, it's kind of like that minus, some of the more
risque,
racier.
Some of the racier content that doesn't exist on the Kirk Minahan Show. But, full of swears, full of funniness. I've never laughed so hard at some of the funniest or some of the things on there. So go check it out. That's my handle. Obert.
Nice.
And hang on. Pete's slacking.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Damn, Pete. Come on.
And Pete, you need to play one more time.
He's got to
make up for lost time.
It's a different gong though. At least he switched the gongs.
Keep him busy. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So my handle this week, listeners to our show will know that Chris is an avid repeat viewer. If Chris has seen it once, he wants to watch it again. For me, I'm much more of a, there's so many new things out there to experience. I don't like to go back and watch something a second time. But
I feel attacked.
I had to go back and I just finished my rewatch of Breaking Bad. And
nice.
It's one of the few shows that I have to say, and I won't put any, don't worry if you haven't watched it. At this point, you deserve it to be spoiled because you've been slacking, but I won't spoil it here.
Also, you should know that Kirk Minahan's a big fan of Breaking Bad, and you're in good company.
So, this is one of the few shows that, as it progresses through the seasons, characters evolve, things get more complex, and, there's a whole morality spectrum. And characters that I hated the first watch through, like Walter's wife, I felt 180 degrees opposite the second time. Like,
interesting. You don't hear that very often.
I was totally like, the first time, like, oh man, what is she doing? This is like so annoying. But then the second time, knowing, things of how the seasons progress, you're like, oh, I am totally on her side. And
how do you feel about the son?
He's kind of a non-factor. I didn't really think his character added or took anything away from the show.
Still an annoying character, and
I mean, I will say there were some parts where Walt Jr. like definitely tried to dig at your heartstrings, but I overall, he's kind of like just a secondary character.
Yeah. So I know it's kind of cheesy to use a handle from like the late aughts, early 10s. But for those of you who've been sleeping on the show, I'm sure you've heard it recommended many times. This is one more. Got to check it out on Netflix. No excuse. And if you've seen it before and you're like, what's something I can just watch passively? This one sucked me in again after just after starting it. I just couldn't stop and went through it all again. And that final season, one of the best seasons of television out there, I think, for sure.
And if you haven't watched Better Call Saul, I know this has been a handle, an episode like 10 or something.
Yeah, it's a long
it
time.
Is, it's the prequel show to Breaking Bad. It's how Saul became Saul. It's written by the same people. It's just as good. There's 5 seasons, only 4 out on Netflix. I'm waiting for the 5th to come out. Go check that out too, because it's written the same way. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, this is an odd fact because I do love Breaking Bad, but that's one of the few shows that I have not rewatched. I think rewatching is way better when it's like a sitcom.
Yeah. You like to rewatch when it's like a show you can just kind of relax and
zone out to.
Breaking Bad is like a tense drama.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
high
Chris
stress.
likes
at least
30-minute zone out shows.
That's me. Everybody write in.
And so with that, we'd like to thank the breweries who provided today's beers. I will go first by thanking Treehouse for their on-the-fly double IPA.
And I'd like to thank Anheuser-Busch, maybe, for their
getting
Natty
you drunk
Daddy.
at least.
You did say that it got better.
It did get better. It was weird. Because I thought that the warmer, but anyways, yeah.
And I'm gonna
was
thank
weird.
Rise and Half Full for my heart pounding rise and grind.
Please make sure you're going over to social media and following us. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at DAWF Podcast. Also, make sure you follow the email at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your concerns, handle ideas for Chris, because he's always struggling with those.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Beer recommendations. If we get a whole bunch of new listeners, what are something that we're missing here? I mean, we're Connecticut, North Carolina, Montana based. So if you've got any suggestions for things that we can get in our state, let us know.
Or if
also,
you want to send beer,
you can also do that. Hit us up. We'll send you our addresses.
Right.
Make sure you're heading over to Discord. We have a Discord chat that discusses our podcast. Also, make sure that you're going over to Patreon. If you're interested in the podcast and like to support us and support our beer buying habits, if you become a Patreon member and you give us some money, and you tell us a beer to buy, I think we're pretty much pot committed to have to go buy that beer if we can find it. There's also different tiers over there. Remember, if you pay $25 a month, Chris has to drink a Clamato Bud Light with you.
Yeah,
so,
we'll hang out. We'll all get on chat, and I'll drink one of them stupid beers with you.
And if you subscribe for multiple months in a row at $25, he has to drink one each month.
You know what? You said it on a previous episode, and I was hesitant. But if you're willing to do that, sure, why not? Why not? If you're willing to do that, there's nothing else I can do for you.
Also,
you get some sick pleasure out of me being disgusted.
Also, make sure you head over to iTunes and leave us a rating. Leave us a comment, leave us a rating. 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. A rating is a rating. It helps people find us.
But 5 stars is the most, so
yeah.
You should probably
5 stars is the most. Unless you're going by golf terms, then 1 star is the most.
No.
But if you're going by iTunes terms,
Tiger
5
Woods,
stars.
since now you're listening, please give us 5 stars. Don't give us 1 star.
Other than that, my name's Tud. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Kirk Minahan audience. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our show, and hope you hear from us next week.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends.
See,
Yeah,
I feel like we need to fade out. I think we need to freeze frame it.
Laughing at the funny joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As I said to the Kirk Minahan audience at the beginning, very rough video editing is about to occur. We're learning as we go, so we're eventually just going to fade to black.
Well, okay, so I have a question. Do you think it's 25 ounces and they give away that 1 ounce for free because they just want to get rid of the beer?
I think so.
Oh, fuck. Damn it. I thought it was a deal.
You thought it was a deal. They just tricked you into taking an extra ounce off their hands.
No. They even named it the big one.